To look at what we can do to avoid these things by looking at the power cycle. The Bible says that in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Romans 8 verse 37. In order for a leadership team to avoid the seeds of doubt, frustration, and burnout, we need to continually generate power and to remain energized in order to work towards our goals. There are many types of power a leadership team can generate, but Basic Youth Group relies heavily on friendship and commitment power. The relationships that leaders form with the young people are crucial to leading. In today's world, young people don't care what you know until they know that you care. The young people need to know that we genuinely care for them and want them to become the men and women of God they were made to be. As youth leaders, we need to be committed to the calling of serving God in nurturing the next generation of leaders. The young people need leaders who will be there for them, not just during the good times, but leaders who will stick with them, especially during the difficult times. The young people can sense it if a leader is not 100% committed, and the young people of Basic deserve more than that. Now let's have a look at the actual power cycle. The first thing a leadership team needs to do is to make a decision. This is when the leadership team either makes a decision for a new activity with the recommendations put forward from previous activities. Action. The next step is for a leadership team to take action by getting involved in an activity. Evaluation. After the activity is accomplished, we then take time to ask what went well and what can we improve on. Recommendation. After taking in the evaluation, the final step is to take the recommendations and apply them to the next activity while staying realistic in terms of time, funds, gifts, and energy. Delegation occurs between decision and action. The overall leader delegates tasks to the other leaders to take charge of. Delegating is critical to teamwork as it enables the group to share their load and makes organizing a lot easier. Now let's put the power cycle into practice by using our annual talent night as an example. First of all, decision. Earlier this year, we took the recommendations from last year's talent night and made the decision to have our talent night during the October school and uni holidays to make it more convenient for the kids to practice their performances and to also have more time for the leaders to plan and organize the event. We then held a meeting to plan and organize the event and delegated tasks to other leaders. One group took care of the food that would be provided. Another group were responsible for the logistics side of the event. Others were delegated with the task of handling the technical side of things, such as setting up the instruments and computers, etc. And the last thing we needed was a group to take care of promoting the event and structuring the program for that night. Action. As Talent Night 2011 drew near, we made sure that all the delegated tasks were being done. There were new creative ways to advertise the event, such as using Facebook and making videos such as Basic News to make it more memorable. The night went very smoothly and all the planning and organizing really paid off. We also decided to raise funds for Compassion by asking for donations that night. That night we raised over $300. Evaluation. The event had a really great turnout with approximately 70 to 90 people in attendance. The members of Basic were very excited and invited friends not just to attend but to also perform on the night. The program and food provided worked very well to make the night flow and kept it entertaining. Some things we could improve on was to maybe have more decorations, have a bigger venue next time, and maybe make use of the data projector more. Recommendations. We would definitely need a new data projector. Having more time to prepare next year would be beneficial, and getting the parents to be more involved would be more convenient. Here's a small recap of how that night went. So that was Talent Night 2011. Now that you know how to work together as a leadership team, let's take a look at what a typical yearly roster for Basic Youth Group looks like. Here it is. Every month we have a different topic and a different leader is delegated with the task of providing the Bible study material for that month. We also have an outgoing event for each month also. A lot of energy and planning is required for these programs to work. It is the overall leader's job to make sure that the leadership team are nurtured throughout the year to prevent doubts and burnout from happening. To make sure that doesn't happen, one thing we have done this year is to have in-depth reflective Bible studies once or twice a month with just the leaders to not just spiritually feed them, but to challenge their faith also. Putting all these things into practice will make for not just a very powerful ministry team, but can also make a huge difference in a young person's life. Let's take a moment now to hear a testimony from one of the young people from Basic Youth Group.
Well, to me, Basic Youth Group is to have another set of family, which is sort of like in our own age group. Not like type of family as in like with a mom or dad. Or maybe you could say that because like the youth leader to me is sort of my parents during youth group. And another personal thing to me is youth group is like, it's that sort of group that you can always run to whenever you have problems. You can always like come ask for them for assistance, for advice, for help. And you can assure that they'd be there for you, like they'd go through you through thick and thin, and that they'd always do their best to make you feel good. And yeah, I guess that's what youth group for me is.
So there you have it. To wrap things up, here are my 7 final thoughts. Number 1, remember the only thing that God requires in a leader is their willingness to say yes to His calling. Number 2, always remind your leadership group of the mission and vision statement, especially when new leaders are appointed. Number 3, remember to always keep your leadership team spiritually fed in order to counteract doubts, frustrations, and burnout. A healthy team is far more effective than just having one healthy leader doing all the feeding. Number 4, communication, especially during the power cycle, is crucial. If delegation is unclear, it can deprive energy and power. Number 5, friendship and commitment are the 2 most effective types of power that Basic Youth Group draws from. Some may say that being too friendly with the kids might be a weakness because they won't fear or have reverence for us. But the fact is, most of us grew up with these kids and we can't change their views on us. Trying to do that is like trying to erase their childhood memories, which is just as frustrating and non-beneficial as trying to read the Bible from Genesis all the way to Revelations. Number 6, don't try to copy other leaders or try to be someone else you're not. Just be yourselves. God gave you your personality for a reason. And number 7, with everything that you do it with love. Most young people are really just looking for somewhere they can belong, somewhere where they matter. So this concludes my Back to Basics guide. I hope you learnt a lot. So now that you know the life story of Basic Youth Group and our mission and vision statement, and you know what it means to work as a team, I believe that you have all the tools you need to not just be a successful youth leader, but to be a successful leadership team. And just remember that The only thing God looks for in a leader is their willingness to say yes. Thank you, and God bless. Amen.
Hi! Oh, what are we supposed to say? Dave, a really good youth leader.
A plus.
Say that. He is awesome.
You're gonna get a HD for sure. Runway.
Dave's a really good
What was that?
Really good leader. Dave's the best leader.
Sunrise coming up over the Pacific, and